BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Yo, this is the Yungblud podcast. Turn up that volume extra loud today because today's episode is about good old ADHD. One of the things most people know about me is that I do have ADHD. It's something I've lived for all my life. I found it quite hard growing up because I felt different, I felt wacky, I felt out of control and I didn't know why. I'm speaking to Georgia, who is 23 from Windsor today. As a teenager, she felt different from others. She always felt like she would think about things differently and did things and would go about things in a different way. For years, she had really bad anxiety and depression, and she tried loads of different therapy, courses, medications, everything under the sun, but nothing ever kept her issues or what she was going through away for a long time. Then in October, she was finally diagnosed with ADHD and prescribed specific medication for it, and she's felt like so much better since the diagnosis. She wants to help dispel the misunderstanding that ADHD is just about being hyperactive or a bit wacky. It's not. It's a real thing. So I can't wait to talk to her. One ADHD brain to another. It's a party. As always, it's going to be bad language, probably more so than ever with this one. Here's me and Georgia on Life with ADHD. Georgia, how you doing? All right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
ADHD buddies.
Yeah,
Hey.
Oh, I know. High five for the screen to that. It's crazy.
Dude, absolutely, man. I love your hair. You actually look cool. For anyone that obviously can't see because this is a podcast, George's got insane pink hair. I love it.
Thank you. Thanks.
How you doing, man? All right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Just as good as you can be, really, in the times we are.
It's all a bit bizarre we are.
It's really weird. It's so weird.
So you were diagnosed with ADHD, and a lot of your life you kind of felt quite left out because you knew something was different and something was weird about you, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. When did you first notice kind of your mental health was like, I don't know, different to kind of your mates maybe or everyone around you?
It started like when I was about 14, where I sort of like, my mental health just started going a bit down. Like I started to feel like really depressed and anxious, and I just thought it was depression and anxiety because that's what the doctors said. And I don't know, from there on, I just always knew that something was just like a little bit wrong with me, even though I don't look like nothing's wrong with me. But in my head, it felt like something was just not the same as everybody else's. Like I didn't understand why I had
behaved
really
or acted or yeah
like I wasn't a bad kid though. I wasn't a bad kid at all. Like that's maybe the reason why no one sort of suspected it. Like it was all about the depression and anxiety at that time because everyone just sort of thought that that's what I had, and I kind of accepted that in the end of that's how it was. I went to college and I started doing dance performing arts, and that really kind of it got my head back sort of in the game, like where's I really enjoyed it. And I feel like with ADHD, like when you do something you really enjoy, it kind of like brings out your personality and it brings out like all the warmness and stuff like that. So I kind of got a little bit better then. But then from there, I kind of got into a bit of a toxic relationship. It kind of deteriorated my mental health because I was kind of told to be quiet about it, of what was going on. And then from there on out, my mental health started going like crazy. Like it was just going up and down, and just like one moment I'll be fine, one moment I wasn't, and then I started just becoming this shell of complete fear, and like it felt like I couldn't even live my life anymore to what I wanted to.
I remember feeling exactly the same.
Yeah.
I remember just being up and down constantly. That's where my ADHD comes out. I'm either high and mental and in your face, or I'm literally like, all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like so introverted and like having a panic attack in a corner.
Yeah.
And to kind of come to grasp with that, I can completely relate to kind of the toxic relationship, because if you're already battling something and then something else comes into the mix, it's literally like overdrive and over like just madness. You know what I mean? Trying to put your finger on, okay, how do I actually feel? Because I was all right and now I'm hurting, but this is, I'm up and I'm down, and it's just crazy.
It's really sad, actually, like, because I kind of just thought it was a bit of PTSD, and I didn't actually realise how bad of the situation was until I kind of got out of that relationship.
You were out of it, yeah.
I kind of thought that I needed to go to therapy and sort it out, because at the end of like 2019, I became rock bottom. It was so bad. Like, I was so depressed. I felt suicidal. I just didn't even want... It wasn't that I didn't want to live life anymore. It was that I wanted to not live like in my own head anymore. I wanted to have all the surroundings, but I just wanted to change.
You are literally freaking me out right now, because I feel like I felt exactly the same. It literally feels like you're watching yourself in a movie.
No way.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt like when I kind of get to my lowest point, like I wasn't in my own head. I was watching myself from behind myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or I was watching myself in a film that I was so checked out all the time. And I think when you are in a toxic relationship and stuff like that on top of kind of what you're going through already, you don't see it until you're completely out of it. Which, I mean, how are you gonna? Because, you know what I'm saying, perspective is such a massive thing that you do not get if you're within something, you know? What was it like? What was the process like getting diagnosed with ADHD? Was it hard?
Oh my God, so I didn't even know that I had it. I was thinking I might have had EUPD, or I may have had bipolar. So
Bipolar, yeah,
like,
it's a big misconception.
Like, honestly, and I didn't have any idea of it until I started therapy. So I paid for therapy because I needed it ASAP. It was kind of especially where COVID hit. Oh my God. As soon as COVID hit, I was my hyperactivity just turned into anxiety. So where I was so hyperactive, I was having panic attacks all the time. It was just so bad. So I got therapy, and then they were I was I think I need to get treated for my trauma and everything that's going on with my depression, anxiety. And then my therapist was kind of looking at me I think that there might actually be something else there. And I was I thought that too. I was I thought that too. It's so weird that you think the same, because no one else would believe me. No one else would think it as well. And when I went through the whole process with the NHS, they were it's going to take 2 years to get an assessment. And I was no way. I need it now.
Yeah,
I was
I'm not going to be here. Yeah,
I was
I think, yeah, man, I was mental health is such a crazy thing, because there's different forms, and ADHD and bipolar affects people in different ways because we are all absolutely different. It's all like chemicals, man, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like chemical imbalances in different bodies. So sometimes ADHD is going to behave differently in you to me, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's so important to kind of take it really seriously, man. No one is being dramatic. No one is craving attention. I hate that. I hate it.
When
I've had that my whole life.
People did used to say that. They used to be oh, you're so over dramatic, or you're being too much, sort of thing. And I'm sitting there thinking maybe I am, but then I just have to say everyone just needs to trust their gut, because I knew from day dot that something wasn't right and something was different about me, but I just kind of had to accept what the doctor was saying, that you're just depressed, you've got anxiety, blah, blah, blah. And I don't actually think I would have actually realised I had it unless, all the bad stuff didn't happen to me. Do you know what I mean? So...
no, absolutely, man. It's literally come to that point. It's long live the outsider. You know what I'm saying? If you are out there and you are away from everyone and you are in there, it will be all right, I promise you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a mad journey sometimes, and it's going to be hard, and you're going to kind of get knockbacks, and you're going to kind of... people aren't going to understand you automatically, because how can you? Because you have something that's different. If you feel different, you might not be understood initially, but you will get there. I literally sound like a broken record. I say this every day. I'm you will find people if you want to find people. I just say that to myself every day as well. I'm just keep going, keep fighting, keep finding people, keep doing it, keep spreading the good fight, man. So you got onto treatment, eventually got onto a diagnosis and a treatment. How are you feeling now? Are you feeling better?
It's literally the fog's disappeared.
Oh, that's so sick, man.
I honestly can't believe how much clearer I can think and see things now that I'm actually medicated. I remember when I first started it, and everything just became euphoric, and I was I literally can breathe now. It feels I can think and I can feel properly, rather than being teared down all the time by it. And it's just
100%.
The emotional sensitivity, it's always going to be there, and it's still there, but you kind of, for me, whereas I'm medicated now, I can kind of see things clearly, and I can stop myself from getting into such a bad state, because now I can kind of realize to myself that I'm okay now. There is a reason why you are the way you are. Like, it's horrible when you think that you're like weird and just different, and like that no one understands what you're thinking. But it was only because I didn't even understand it myself. I didn't even know I had it. So,
dude, I mean, yeah, you're literally speaking my language. It's literally, how am I supposed to understand if I don't yet? You know what I'm saying? So I think it is important to figure that out. And therapy as well. Like, I got a therapy, you got a therapy. Go to therapy, man. Like it actually does.
It
really help.
changes the fucking game. Like,
well, but it does. It literally really does, man. Honestly, like at first I was like, yeah, man, I don't need a therapist, man. I'm a rock and roll star, whatever. Do you know what I mean? All that jazz, but that don't work, man. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you need to like break down and cry to somebody that's not your teddy bear.
Honestly.
You know. And but my therapist said like medication and whatever. It almost is like I'm gonna go proper music nerd now because me therapist knows how to talk to me. It's like mastering. So when you like record something, it's like sound waves that go up and down and they're kind of uncontrollable. When you master something, you put like a limiter on it, so it kind of allows your emotions to stay within the lines of not going absolutely bonkers. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's it. I mean, I personally didn't click with medication, just didn't vibe with me. It kind of numbed me out a bit.
Yeah.
But I've found other ways to harness it within creativity and within like music and within like community, and everyone's route is different. You know what I'm saying? So if you got ADHD or you got a mental disorder, some people will be good on medication, some people won't be. It's all about a journey. It's all about what's right for you. So there's no rule book, man. You know what I mean? We are people. We are not a scale electrics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I do. It's really nice. It's so nice to talk to somebody who's like as passionate about it as I am, because I've always thought that with mental health, I kind of had this like connection with it just because I've been through it so much. And then when you talk to other people who do understand and like go through exactly the same thing, there's just this like fire where you're just like, oh my God, you actually understand exactly what I'm saying. It's like, it's mental.
Dude, absolutely. And it's the point, like, me and you have a similar disorder, but people like at home, I want to relate to this, because even if you don't have ADHD, even if you don't have bipolar disorder, if you feel like an alien sometimes, we're talking exactly the same language as you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's why I love this community. That's why I wanted to start Yungblud, was because to bring people together for one common reason, and that is to belong in a place where you feel accepted and you feel you can come here when you are kind of at your wit's end and you've had enough of the world. What's your dream job?
So my dream job, I've got like two. You know, you have like a backup and then you had one. You had one, then you have a backup. So like, obviously I wanted to do performing arts or dance. Like, that was like my passion when I was young.
So sick, man. You're a dancer. That's cool.
Yeah, no.
What kind of dance you like?
I love contemporary. I like a bit of commercial as well. I wanted to do that when I was younger, and I kind of, because of my mental health, it kind of got in the way a little bit. So I decided that I would kind of keep it as a hobby. But I actually worked when I was about 19, 20 in a mental health institution for adolescents and children. And it opened my eyes like so much, even though I didn't know I had ADHD at the time. Obviously, I still suffered with depression. So going in there and seeing kids that are so sad, depressed, hormonal, going through like so much trauma and stuff like that, it was kind of rewarding in a way to be able to connect with them and tell them like it will be all right. And people did come out on the other side like feeling so much better. It was just such a great experience just to like meet people who were struggling and like going through the same thing as you, but you being in that kind of like hierarchy to be able.
You're in a different position. Literally, it's like you're in a position that someone was in to you a week ago, and then you get to give that advice, and that helps. It's like when you're giving advice to someone, you kind of reaffirming it to yourself. Whatever anyone's going through out there, man, it'll be all right. I swear to you. In this moment, when you're freaking out, if you sat in your bedroom right now, just freaking out, it's like everything becomes clearer. George, you're a legend, man. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. No. Honestly, I loved hanging out, man. It's been sick. It's dope. You're really cool, man.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been the best. Thank you.
Dude, honestly, like, keep going, and I hope you get that job, man. Like to be a mental health ambassador. I think that'd be amazing. I think you'd be really good at it.
Like, honestly, it is the dream. But we'll make it one day, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you will. I believe in you. Wicked, man. Thank you so much. You absolute legend. Dude, I love talking so openly about mental health. Never be afraid to talk about it. Talk to your mates, talk to your cat, talk to your mum, talk to your nan, talk to your wall, man. Get it out, man. It's so important. If you want advice or support on mental health, obviously, head over to the BBC Action Line page. Subscribe to the podcast on BBC Sounds. Tell your mates, man. We're making this the best podcast in the world, man. I'll see you next week. I love you all. Stay safe and wash your bloody hands.